Eagles versus Chiefs, Monday Night Football. This game will be huge for many reasons, and the players think so too. Also, Jalen Carter making headlines. We'll talk about all that and more coming up. What is up, everybody? RB here. Welcome into A to Z Philly. You know what to do. Drop a like if you enjoy the content. Subscribe, ring the bell. Don't miss any of the coverage. We are back, and feels like the Eagles are finally coming to return. Like, they've almost had 2 bye weeks, right? Like, last week they were off, and then this week going all the way, waiting. They don't even play Sunday. They play Monday, but that game will be magnified. It is the Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs, really starting the gauntlet. I guess you could count the Dallas game as part of the gauntlet, but here is like a real test, and these guys are going to take it personal, man. They are ready to rock. We'll talk about all that and more on Jalen Carter, because I know you're probably wondering what's going on. We're kind of hearing his name, kind of not. We'll break it down, but before we do that, a shout out to our sponsor of today's show, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up with the code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with the bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. All right, let's start it off on a positive note, man, right? Big week, big game coming up. Let's talk about Jalen Carter and what he did a couple days ago. He actually went and hosted a Thanksgiving-themed event for 150 kids at the Boys and Girls Club in Philly. He was giving back to these kids. You know, during the holidays, a lot of people do not have, right, the commodity of just sitting down with their family, having a nice dinner, and these little kids, right, giving them a great experience, not only to, go out there and get stuff, but also to meet Jalen frickin' Carter, who is an absolute stud in this city. And, he's primed to have a really good career here. Really good guy. And despite what we've heard about him, and, he has so far proved himself, he's stayed out of trouble this season. Speaking of Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, both of the Georgia Bulldogs, Brandon Graham said, quote, "Like I told them, they should be commanding a lot of money. They shouldn't be on the same team, but Howie is a magician. He made it work." And Brandon Graham speaking the truth. He knows it best, right? He has been here for a really long time, even getting these two. How about Nolan Smith? How about Nakobe Dean? Just bringing all these guys in here from winning programs who know how to feast. And, I agree with Brandon Graham, right? These young guys, he's speaking to the youth here. He's preaching, get your money. Go out there, maximize your value. How the heck did Howie draft you both? Who knows? But he finds a way. He finds a way. And before we hop onto the game, a report was put out about Jalen Carter. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but it just seems very fishy. There was no police report. There was no continued follow-up by the beat reporters. It was put out by a guy named Jeff Nadeau, who's one of the tagged people here. And then this Twitter account, Sergeant Mark Fuzetti, it says retired cop, I guess, talked about an incident where Jalen Carter had some type of altercation, I guess, at a local store, like a Target. And he, essentially got fed up with the cops, and someone from the Eagles called, and he was let go, but there was like some follow-up. I don't know if this happened or not. I'm not going to sit here and say it did. I'm just reporting on what was put out there, but I will say it seems very interesting and very confusing that this would be put out with no type of follow-up, right? No police report, nothing out there. Maybe there will be one filed, but no charges. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. So far, Jalen Carter, since the draft night stuff, has been a very good young player. He has stayed out of trouble. Like I said, coming to a place like Philadelphia, being in that type of environment has really helped him with some of the leaders, even like a Brandon Graham. And until we hear anything further, I'm not going to entertain it any further. I just think it's weird to put something else out like this on Twitter with no backing. So we'll see how it plays out. But in terms of playing out, the Eagles will play out against the Chiefs. And Jordan Mailata says that this game is personal. He's looking forward to it, and quote, he's taking it personal, because he says he'll never forget that feeling of seeing the red and gold confetti fall. And, being out there, all the blood, sweat, and tears, even a guy like Mailata, his journey from playing rugby and moving through the ranks and getting drafted in the 7th round and making money like he has, and getting to that moment and failing, right? That has to fuel you. That has to put some more jet fuel in the tank. And man, it's just crazy. It's crazy thinking about what this team did last year and the fact they couldn't finish it off. And here they are in a rematch against Kansas City. Of course, let's not scale up one game too big, but even the photos, right, of Jalen walking off and seeing that red and gold confetti and just almost looking like he wanted to cry. I expect him to come out and play his best game of the year, at least one of them, and we'll see if it's enough. I mean, you look at how lethal Kansas City is. You look at how good they are as a team. Yeah, they're 7-2 right now. The Eagles are 8-1. The Eagles now essentially had 2 weeks, and the Chiefs did as well, to kind of clean up some things that have been going wrong this year. But two really good teams. We could see them back in a rematch in the Super Bowl, and I like that this game is adding extra fuel. I like that Mailata has that competitive nature, that competitive spirit where he's going to take it and say, okay, let me go out there and kick their ass this time, right? I mean, the Eagles had a 10-point lead in the Super Bowl, and I haven't gone back to watch it. I find it very tough to go back and watch games like that as the fan side of me, you know, like just being crushed and thinking about how close they were to winning that game. But maybe I'll try to go back and decipher some of it before the game on Monday night. But I know Mailata will, you know, feel those same feelings that he probably felt back in February, and same with other players. So I like the fact that they're willing to go out there and take it up a notch for a game like this, and I hope they can get a W. I really do. Elliot Shore Parks put this out on Twitter. Some of the strengths and weaknesses from Kansas City. The strengths, obviously, Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid. And did you guys know that Andy Reid, coming off a bye week in his career, is 27-4? 27-4. This is going to be a very tough game. He just knows how to adjust and knows how to come off the bye week. Strengths, interior O-line as well, pass defense, pass rush. The KC defense is like top 5 right now in a lot of categories. They've been very surprising this year, right? Everybody talks about Mahomes and Kelsey, and sure, they may not have a plethora of weapons, but damn, they have a pretty good defense this year. And KC is looking like a team that could potentially stack up and make another run, right? Since he's been up and down, Ravens lost. The Buffalo Bills are essentially losing it right now. They're not even in the playoff race. So it looks like KC is going to be the juggernaut again. And it's always going to be hard to beat Mahomes and Andy Reid. But I think the Eagles will put forth a good performance. The weaknesses, as it says here, run defense, O-tackle, thin on the D-line. Wide receivers are not too special. That last one, I mean, they have Travis Kelce and Pat Mahomes. I'm not really worried about them putting up points. I know they will. But the run defense, that is the one key I'm looking at going into this week. Like, the Eagles need to get that mojo back, whether it's Swift, Gainwell, combination, maybe sprinkle in some Boston Scott. They need to find a way to get the run game going. It has not been present, and it has really hurt this team offensively in certain games, you know, where last week we're kind of sweating down to the final possession. We're trying to not have a heart attack watching the Eagles beat Dallas, but Eagles are going to have to correct some of these things moving forward if they want to be a team that can go all the way. Last year, they could run the ball for 200 yards against anybody. They are going to need to find that identity again with whoever, you know, the primary back will be. Jalen Herz through week 9 of the season, 8-1. Mahomes 7-2. You look at their yards, very similar. Total touchdowns similar. Interceptions the same. Passer rating similar. Right now, Hertz is leading the MVP conversation. He's up there, and so is Mahomes, right? And these guys battled for it last year. I think we're going to see a really good game, a good test. Like I said last week, though, if the Birds can go 3-2 in these next 5 games, right? If they can win some of these games and go 3-2, I'm not worried at all. They already beat Dallas once. They might split with them, but if they can beat a couple of these good teams, right? The Buffaloes, they could probably beat. I think the Niners will be a good game. I think the Eagles can beat them. Even if they are to lose this game, I'm not going to say the season's over and it's done with. No, they have a really good shot of finishing with the same record they did last year, because you look at the final 3 games of the year, they're essentially layups if you play all your players against them. And look, man, the Eagles just need to go and build some confidence. They need to beat these good teams. But even if they drop a game or two, I'm not really worried. It's about showing the way that you play, right? If you go out there and you play a tough game, but everything's polished and things are corrected in certain areas and you're not getting beat for 450 yards a game, I'm not mad at it, right? The Chiefs are a really, really good squad. So it'll be a tough test. I need Jalen not to turn the ball over. I need the weapons to get active early on, get guys involved. But if the Eagles can establish a run game, I really do think they can put together a really good battle here against the Chiefs. And who knows, it might foreshadow another rematch in the Super Bowl. So we will see how all of it plays out. But give me your initial thoughts. Do you think the Birds have a chance in this game? Do you think they will win? How many will they win over the next 4 weeks? Give me all your thoughts down below in the comments section. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.